Hi, my name is Kat and I'm a cloud engineer at Nationwide. But if you'd asked me 2 years ago, my answer would have been completely different. And if you'd asked me 10 years ago when I first arrived in the UK and told me that one day I'll become an engineer, I would have laughed. See, I've always envied people who knew exactly what they wanted to do in life. I was never one of them. I've worked all sorts of jobs. I was a housekeeper once, then I was a barista, then a waiter, and a salesperson. And then finally one day I saw an ad for an apprenticeship at Nationwide. It offered paid work experience and a degree in business management. It felt too good to be true, but I thought, why not? And to my surprise, I got in. I felt like I was finally on the right track. So you can imagine how disappointing it was and how guilty I felt when 4.5 years later I realized that working in the business world just wasn't for me. See, during my apprenticeship, I started to notice the signs of my undiagnosed ADHD. I struggled with things that my coworkers would handle quite effortlessly, like time management or focusing and staying organized. But I also started to discover strengths that I hadn't recognized before, like being able to spot unexpected patterns or think outside the box, or hyper focusing on complex problems for hours. Okay, maybe I wasn't thriving in a business world, but surely that didn't mean that there wasn't a place for me at Nationwide. So I started digging, looking for the career that worked best for me and my neurodiversity. And guess what? Technology kept coming up. I had my doubts. I mean, I was always fascinated by tech, but I never considered it as a career option. My head was full of the usual misconception and stereotypes, like you have to be good at math, you need to know how to code, you need a computer science degree, or you have to be a guy. I was none of these things. But then I looked back at my seemingly chaotic career journey and realized that every single one of my past jobs had given me skills that are highly valued in tech. The retail and customer service, now that taught me problem solving, how to adapt and think on my feet. The sales job gave me strong communication and collaboration skills, hugely underrated but essential for engineers. Hospitality, that helped me to work under pressure, multitask, and pay attention to details. I didn't need to start from scratch. I already had quite a solid foundation. In my case, quitting the job wasn't an option. Even if money wasn't an issue, I knew that I needed structure and hands on learning to stay engaged, especially with my ADHD. And as it turned out, I didn't even have to leave Nationwide to get that. I applied for the technology development program. It's an 18-month work placement designed for people who are eager to learn and passionate about starting a career in tech. The best part? You don't need any prior tech experience. They teach you everything you need to know on the job. So 2 years ago, I took a leap of faith. I made a switch. I'm not gonna lie, the imposter syndrome hit hard. I was 30 years old, neurodivergent, immigrant woman who had never written a single line of code, and I was walking away from a stable business career. But then I met the other people on the program, and each one of them had their own unique journey. Some were straight out of the university, others in their 40s. Some had worked in retail and customer services. Others were accountants, project managers, or stay at home parents that were returning to work. And suddenly, all that mattered was that we were here to learn, not what we did or didn't do before. Fast forward 2 years. I'm now a cloud engineer. I've written hundreds of lines of code, solved complex problems, and learned about technologies and concepts I had never even heard of before. But what made the biggest difference wasn't the technical training, it was the people. The engineers who mentored me, the colleagues who encouraged me, and the network of fellow career changers who supported each other through the highs and lows. I'm sharing my story because I want you, especially if you've ever felt like tech wasn't for you, to know that there's no right or wrong way to break into this industry. You need to find a path that works for you. Whether it's a development program like mine, a coding bootcamp, online courses, or even just attending a networking event to explore your options, just take that first step. It's normal to have doubts, but trust me, your past experiences have already given you the resilience and drive to succeed. You can do this. And if you ever need a reminder, just know that I've been there too.